Hello and welcome back to my Author2 channel. I'm author.r.reading and today I'm going to be covering a subject that has recently come to the forefront of my mind, and I figured I would share it with you guys since I've made some breakthroughs. Alright, so my inspiration comes from one of Kate Kavanaugh's most recent videos where she talks about her writer's uniform. Now, she is suggesting the concept behind being at home as an entrepreneur and separating your home life from your work life. Now, this can be a very huge struggle for all entrepreneurs, especially indie authors or people trying to make it on social media, and it can be a real struggle. So I decided to sit down and work out little details of like my job description and how I like my work hours and what my uniform is and several other things. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you kind of what I ended up deciding and how you can do this for yourself as a entrepreneur or author at home so that you can learn how to separate your home life from your author life. I am now done writing everything out in this handy dandy notebook of mine. I love this notebook, and I just got it from like the dollar store, and it says work, work, work on the front of it. So I went ahead and wrote out a whole bunch of things that I'm going to now go through and talk about. So the first thing I wrote down and figured out was how many days and how many hours would I be willing to work, or how many hours would I be willing to let someone else work doing this job. And I figured 5 days, 4 hours a day, considering that it is mentally taxing to do everything that I do. So I set that parameter and I completely did not follow it. When I went through and organized the schedule I would set for myself for the time limits per day that I would write during those times, my work hours as it may be. So my best example of how many hours that I work the most on Friday. So Friday I've set aside the time from 9:30 until 5 p.m. So it's a large chunk of time that I will break up as I go throughout the day, and it will have other things integrated into it. It's not specifically author work, but that's generally what I do on Fridays is I chunk that day away for author work, whether that be filming or posting or prepping, editing, whatever it may be, and that's generally when it gets done. And the next thing is what rules or limits would I want to set on myself if I was a boss to an employee? What would the employee need to do during the work hours? And so it was like no scrolling, because even though I'm posting on social media for my job, I need to limit scrolling or spending time, wasting time on social media or YouTube or whatever it may be, and that is definitely a time suck. You probably are sitting here on YouTube right now watching this video instead of getting author work done, but you can learn from this how to get more author work done. I also wanted to set time limits specifically so my employee wouldn't do a whole bunch of overtime, and they would just work in the allotted time that they have, which is going to be a huge deal for me because I just like to throw it in whenever I can because I'm often very busy and I just need to do it when I can. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the writer's uniform that Kate Kavanaugh. I will link that video down below if you want to check it out, and she explains her writer's uniform and what she's doing for that. And I want to say that I generally do get dressed. I have other things where I have to go outside of the house. I'm not generally in the house all the time. And so I do generally get dressed, but being a little bit more mindful that it is my work outfit, semi-casual, a little bit more fancy, can help get you in the mindset like she talks about in that video, and it will definitely help me, I think, to be a little bit more mindful when getting dressed on how that affects my work throughout the day. At the bottom of this page, I give myself a job description, and I'm just going to cover a couple little bullet points that I talk about in here. So this is essentially everything that my job comprises so that I can actually compartmentalize work aside from home life, and instead of blending them all together, because I do have things that cross over, like reading. Reading can count as work, but it also is my home life, and so there's a bit of gray area. But my job description includes like media management, actually writing or editing or publishing works, or planning my promotional things, or just planning in general, time tracking, other things, and then educating myself further on all of those things would also count towards my author work. So if I'm listening to an educational podcast that helps me promote my books, that would count as author work. And I think by setting these particular bullet points, now they do have definitely some subcategories under each of them, I am able to better see what I need to work on and what is work and what is home life. So if you are planning to do this for yourself, I would definitely recommend doing a job description so that you can definitely compartmentalize work versus home life, so that you can kind of see where they might be intermingling a little. And that's natural for them too, because you are at home, you are doing a lot of things in your house, in your comfort zone, and it can be a little bit difficult to see that line between them. So yeah, if you are interested at all in this system, comment down below, we can have a chat. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on it. I think this will definitely help me be able to separate home life and work life while still keeping it a healthy balance and giving myself a little bit more credit and a little bit more rest. Considering everything that we do for ourselves as entrepreneurs, it's good to take breaks and good to understand our limits. As everyone does, as human beings, we have limits. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe and hit the notification bell. We would love to have you here, and I do upload videos every Wednesday, so I will see you guys next week. Bye!